just talk about the break, and I don't know if anybody needed it more than you with the amount of minutes you were playing beforehand, but just physically how you're feeling and how you're doing handling all these minutes.
Yeah, I feel good. I got to go home, see the family, rest up. So just looking forward to getting back on the ice though, and then this is you can kind of consider it the second half. It's big for us to come out here and start on the right foot.
How would you evaluate the way you are handling the extra minutes and the extra responsibility? How do you think you're playing, and what are you looking at?
Yeah, I think pretty good, but there's areas I can clean up. I know that, and just continuing to be someone that's reliable for all 30 minutes. You can't just be out there and be reliable for 25 of them or 28 of them. You got to be reliable for all 30 when you're playing those type of minutes. So. Yeah, it's a big responsibility of mine, and I got to do it so the team has success.
You probably learned in junior to conserve energy sometimes mid-shift to try and, because you were playing those kind of minutes then.
Yeah.
Is it harder to do at the NHL level though, not like to play a game where you're actually conserving energy at times instead of just going as hard as you can all the time?
There's still moments you can conserve energy, but at the same time you can't fall asleep. There's a mix and match. There's times to go, there's times to stay back, but at the same time you can't lose where you are in the game. So that's because in junior you may be able to get away with it because not every shift is as valuable as it is up here. So yeah, it's just managing at the right times.
Darnell, this is a team that you faced recently. Just maybe what were some of the takeaways from a couple of weeks ago when you guys played them in Vancouver? Yeah,
obviously that was a game that we felt we could have and should have played a lot better, and it's a big job for us to come out here and play our top game tonight. This is a team that has had a lot of success, especially as of late, and it's gonna be they're gonna be a tough opponent, and it's gonna be we have to bring our best ever here on home ice.
Maybe just talk about the break, how it was for you, and if you come back feeling a little bit refreshed physically, because you guys have played a lot.
Yeah, we played a lot of hockey. It was nice to have a couple days off and kind of regroup and come back refreshed.
Last 2 years, you guys have been really good against the Pacific Division. You start a streak here now. You haven't been as good early. This next 2 weeks really important for you guys. You look at the standings, but also the teams you're playing.
Yeah, really important. Tonight you look at a matchup where if we lose, they take our playoff spot. So that's a big matchup. You never want to give your playoff spot up. So big one.
Connor, maybe just talk about your opponent tonight. You guys played him a couple of weeks ago. What were some of the takeaways from that game?
Yeah, they work hard. They're a team that relies on the power play. They defend well and check hard, and they can score 5-on-5, but their power play has been real good for them, and we saw that in our game. So it's something that we got to try and stay out of the box.
Ken said before that Tampa game, you had 2 straight days of practice. You're going to work on the power play and figure it out. And you got 2 power play goals. What were just some of this? Is it just getting back to details? What was the message from the coaches in those 2 days to work to get your power play to be successful?
We just needed to be more urgent. Get the puck back to the net. Win battles. You got to outwork a penalty kill. Tonight we got away from that. So. I thought we did a good job of attacking when we had the opportunity, and sometimes a little bit of luck, honestly. There's power plays that move the puck around well and have tons of chances, just doesn't go in for them, and sometimes just a point shot is all you need.
Connor, do you ever thought on just being named captain of the Western Conference team at the All-Star game?
Yeah, it's obviously special, and to have it fan voted means a lot. I'm very lucky to have the support that I do from fans, not only in Edmonton, but around the league. It definitely means a lot.
Still a special, fun weekend to go to the All-Star game?
It's always fun. It's exciting to be an All-Star. Be around everyone from around the league. It's always a good fun weekend. Pardon?
Your impressions of Pettersson?
Yeah, he's a skilled guy. He's been having a good year. He's obviously a real good player.
Just one more on the Canucks. Connor, I know you touched on earlier, but Hitch said after that last game that was one of the few times he felt since he's been coaching that maybe a little frustration set into the team's game in terms of trying to penetrate what they're doing. What are some of the things they do to frustrate teams?
They keep a lot of guys back. Their neutral zone is pretty passive. They stand the line pretty hard, so you got to be willing to give the puck up and chip it in and chip it behind them and go get it yourself. They don't give up many free entries.
How do you, this is a dumb question, but I specialize in those. You guys are really good when you get depth scoring. When everyone's in, you can win games and you beat good teams, but you've missed some of that lately. How do you, from the top of the lineup, or can you help the depth scoring? How can you help guys? How can the top players get the support? Is there anything you can do?
I mean, you can be supportive. I don't know how you can't go out and, obviously it's on them to produce offense, but ultimately we don't need them to produce offense. We need guys to check well and pitch in when they can. That's what a team is. Around the league now, teams are all top heavy, and you look at teams like Colorado, Boston, that are all very successful, and they don't get a lot of depth scoring either. So we got to find a way to check hard and win games 3-2, 2-1.
And the pressure falls on the top guys then to get you to 3. Is that fair?
Oh boy, Shannon's here again. The Grinch that stole Christmas.
Hi, Ken. First off, just a thought on your defense with how close is Chris Russell? He doesn't look like, based on your rotations, he's in yet.
No. Well, first of all, Garrison has the flu, so he's out. As is Kajula. They're both out with the flu. That draws Weidman in. And Chris skated before the break, and then obviously skated aggressively. He's doing extra work now. Our assumption on Chris is that he's a player on the 29th or 31st. We're hoping for that, and it's trending towards there. But this is the first real extra skate he's got. He's been kind of partaking in morning skates on his own, but this is the first time with the group. So if he passes the test today, then he practices full tomorrow, and then we're assuming he's ready on the 29th or 31st.
Did you say Kajula, Ken?
Yeah, he's out. He's got the same ailment as Garrison.
You've had looks of McDavid and Draisaitl together. You've had looks of them apart on separate lines. Your decision whether or not to play them together, is it it's based
on JJ coming back in. So JJ comes back in. We loved the line of Nugent Hopkins, JJ, and Pilarvi. And our hope is to get back to that line after today's game. It was a great line for us. Put a lot of pressure on people, scored, did everything that you want in the second line. And I know it's moving a couple of guys on the wing up a little bit, but we think it's capable of playing a 200-foot game and getting better offensively as we move on. So the anticipation is we've got one more game to play like this, that we've put Puljujärvi back with Nuge to get that acclimated, and then hopefully JJ comes in, he's ready to go.
Ken, after you played Vancouver before the break, you made a comment along the line that it was one of the few times, or maybe the first time, you saw some frustration in the Oilers game about trying to get through what Vancouver was doing. How do you avoid that frustration tonight? What do they do that can create that frustration?
Well, they did the same thing to Winnipeg, probably even worse. I mean, they outplayed Winnipeg badly, and Winnipeg's a top team in the league. They're on top of their game. Vancouver's on top of their checking game. Their group of defensemen is playing as well as anybody in the West right now. Their goaltending's making big saves, but even then, they're not getting many shots against. Looking back on it, I don't want to say I misspoke, but I look back at the game, and 5-on-5, we played way better than I thought we did, way better. And there's a lot of things we can draw on from that game, 5-on-5, but we gave up 3 power play goals, I think, and they took advantage of it. But I thought 5-on-5, the scoring chances were much in our favor, and we did a lot better things than I thought. But we had, in saying that, we still had struggles to get to the inside. And the same struggles we had, Winnipeg had. And even Tampa had a lot of struggles to get to the inside. They're defending very well. They've got maturity and strength in that group back there, and they make it hard on you. And so you get frustrated because you don't get any time in the offensive zone. They're out and gone, and they've got a lot of quickness up front. So they're playing, to me, as good a team game as anybody in the West right now, and we're going to have to break that down. But looking back on the game tape, I got to look at it unemotionally yesterday. We did a lot of really good things that we can build on from there. Yeah, I don't think the neutral zone's been a problem for us against them. It has been for other teams, but I thought we did a good job where we couldn't get to the inside at all in the offensive zone, but we got more to the inside than I thought we did. But still, in saying that, they contest every puck. They got size and mobility back there, and they contest every puck. They make you pay a price if you want to score. Good teams do that.
Ken, in your experience, what's the toughest part about the 4-day break and coming back from that break?
I don't think it's coming back. The first game back, it's like the first game of the season. It's got some great play and it's got some bizarreness in it. You just move forward. I think the big thing is this is so competitive and so close in the West. To me, whoever embraces details, whoever embraces all the little us stuff is going to end up getting a playoff spot, and I want that to be us. Everybody's got, we're one of the teams that have got the injuries now, but a week from now it might be somebody else. 2 weeks from now we could be healthy. Who knows? But I want us to embrace all the us things that need to take place if you want to be a playoff team. And for us to do that, we've got to start doing some of the harder things that are required to win games for longer periods of time. And you look at the games we've played that we've lost, we had each team right where we wanted at the halfway point. We played great. We did exactly what we wanted to with 30 minutes gone in the game, and we were the first team to crack. And same thing against Tampa. We played a perfect second period, 5-on-5. We played a perfect second period, and then we made a couple of mistakes. They took advantage of it. Same thing in Vancouver. Vancouver, there's 12 minutes gone in the second period, and we've played as good as we can play. And we're playing great, but then we made mistakes and took penalties, and they took advantage of it. Those are things that have to get corrected.
You talk about wanting to play inside, Ken. Your Brodziak line has had good zone time. You know, they create forecheck, they create turnovers, but they're not getting results around the net. A lot of time, you know, they'll have the puck in possession, but it never ends up getting to the front of the net to score. How do you take that next step to try to get some offense from that line when they have contained offensive pressure?
I'm not sure I agree with that statement, and the reason is they don't get enough zone time for me for the way they're built. It's a big body line that should just dominate, and there's not enough shots on goal, there's not enough pucks at the net, there's not enough chaos. And the few times there is, it's really hard on teams. Like, you look at 3 shifts in Vancouver game, that's the consistency we're looking for from that line. If that line plays that consistent level of chaotic hockey, which is pucks to the net, bodies to the net, pucks deep, if they have that mentality, I don't think there's a line in the league that can play with them as far as big body hockey. I don't think you can check that line because they've got size, weight, and enough skill to move it around. But when they play next play hockey, next play meaning I'm going to pass off shooting opportunities, then they allow smaller, quicker people to be involved. And that's what they've done the last little while. Their best game they played was in Vancouver. And that was exactly what we needed from them. But in the last 2 games, they've gotten away from that. They saw that on their tape today they looked at. And I think they recognize the way they have to play to be successful. I have no doubt that they can finish. I have no doubt that those guys can score. I've seen Brodziak score. I've coached against Lucic and Cash. I know what Lucic can do, but he's not going to do it with the limited opportunities they're getting offensively. There's not near enough. They need way more offensive opportunities if they expect to score, and hopefully what they saw on tape today, they can draw from that.
Again, as an opposing coach, what do you think of Elias Pettersson?
Well, not just him, but that line, especially those 2 guys, 6 and 40. They're 2 of the most dangerous players. Like, there's dangerous players on cycle, there's dangerous players on the rush, dangerous players on turnover. They're dangerous in all 3 aspects. If you make a puck error, they don't miss on offensive opportunities on odd man rushes. They don't miss on 2-on-1s, and they don't miss on 3-on-2s. And in zone, they have really good, close, smart support, so they always get to the inside. But to me, where they're really dangerous is when you turn it over and you make a puck error in the offensive zone, they're gone. And their anticipation on 50-50 pucks is as good as anybody in the league. So to me, they're a line that makes you nervous even when you have the puck, Jim. And that's a very unique dynamic to have. But, you know, Vancouver's lucky they got them because they're going to be players like this for a long, long time.
Just further on Pettersson, the one thing that really amazed us, he wasn't this one-dimensional offensive guy. He was stripping guys through the neutral zone on the back check. He was going all the way back into his own zone to trigger the transition. Can you coach that in a young player, or is that just something ingrained in a player to be that aware in all 3 zones?
Well, I know Greener will take credit for it, but it came a long time ago. I'm just kidding on Greener. But it came a long time ago. It's very similar to us with Pilarvi. Like, there's things that Jesse does. Somebody taught him when he was 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age. The same things happened to Pettersson. To me, that stuff's ingrained in you a long, long time ago. And we're lucky we got a guy like Jesse who does this stuff naturally. And obviously Peterson's a guy that does it naturally, but that gets taught long, long before we get them. Okay.